Welcome back everyone to another episode of Teach Me Grandpa. Today we're going to talk about ironing, but first, a safety note. This needs to be done with supervision, especially when you're first starting or you're young. Be sure to have an adult help you out with this. And then as you get a little bit more experience, you can do this alone. Little history on ironing. Irons used to be iron. This is about 100, maybe 100 or more years ago. And to keep an iron warm, before they had electricity, you would actually put the iron on a stove. And the stove would heat up the iron, you would iron your article, then you put the iron right back on the stove to keep it warm for the next shirt or pair of pants or neckerchief or whatever you're going to iron. Well, the tools that we're going to use today is an ironing board, an iron, electric iron. This is a pretty recent model. It has a light that tells you that it's on, a little switch here, a valve that gives you more or less steam coming out. You can hear that steam hissing. That means it's boiling water. Again, very important that we do this with supervision when we're still learning and young. For distilled water, for the steam, that's the best so it doesn't clog up the inside of the iron. There's a place for releasing steam while you're ironing. Again, very hot. Also, you'll notice some of these will have a little button for squirting. Back in the day, back when I was young, my mom would have either a sprayer or a bottle with holes in the cap, and she would sprinkle water on all of her clothes, all the clothes that need to be ironed, so they would be a little bit damp while they were getting ready to be ironed. This would make it so that they would be easier to iron the clothing. So today we're gonna iron a pillowcase. This is a good thing to start with, not very complicated, but that you do need to remember that there are two layers to a pillowcase. Of course, the top and the bottom. So it's very important that when you're ironing that you keep them straight, because as you iron, it would be possible to create a crease on the other side if both layers are not flat. And to do this, to help you out, you can grab two corners of it, give it a good shake, and lay it down, and then feel for any creases on the other side, and then go to work. We're going to start at one end, and I like to stretch it just a little bit. And that looks nice. Now it's very important that you don't leave your iron in one place for very long, because you could scorch the fabric, especially permanent press fabrics that have some synthetic fibers in it. So let's move up to the next spot. Again, flatten it out, nice and flat. Go nice and easy. There's no rush, no need to rush, but you do need to keep moving. Nice, smooth action. Hear that hissing? It's adding steam, and that really helps the ironing process. All nice and flat. Nice and flat. There you go. Now, with a pillowcase, good idea to do both sides. Here we go. This side's still a little bit wrinkled, so we're going to go ahead and iron this side. See that steam coming up? Steam's doing a lot of the work here. Be sure to keep your hands out of the way too when you're ironing. You don't want to iron your hands. Nice and flat again. This side is partially ironed already, since you ironed the front side first. There we go. Okay, one thing that's really important to do and will help you a lot, go ahead and get this folded right away so that as it cools off, it will stay ironed. Isn't that nice and crisp there? There's an iron pillowcase. This is not so hard to do, and with your mom or dad helping, you'll learn a lot of things, and you'll be able to do it right the next time. So that's all for today. Thanks for visiting, and we'll see you next time.